Hello, my name is Steve Kolb, and I am a neurologist and researcher at the Wexner Medical Center at The Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio. I'd like to speak with you about an important research project for infants with spinal muscular atrophy and to ask for your help to spread the word as we seek super babies to make a difference in this incurable disease. Spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, is the leading genetic killer in infants. SMA causes weakness in the skeletal muscles that move our arms and legs. Infants with SMA are often weak at birth or become weak shortly after birth. The most severely affected are unable to support the weight of their head, move their arms and legs, swallow, and often do not have the strength to breathe on their own. SMA causes such severe weakness in muscles because of the dysfunction and death of the nerve cells that connect the brain to skeletal muscles. These nerve cells are called motor neurons. Why these neurons die is not known. However, researchers do know that SMA is caused by mutations in a single gene, the SMN gene. Now is a very exciting time in research labs around the world that are working to develop therapies for SMA. One of the lessons from this research is that therapies to increase SMN levels are most effective when given as early as possible in the course of the disease in animals. While this is true in animal models, we do not know yet whether this is also true in infants with SMA. And so now there is a real need to understand exactly what happens in muscle and nerve development after birth and how that relates to SMN protein levels in the blood. We need to identify which tests will show whether these promising therapies in animal models are going to be effective during future SMA clinical trials in infants. In other words, we need to identify biomarkers for SMA. A biomarker in medicine is any laboratory measurement that reflects the activity of a disease process. For example, a pregnancy test measures a biomarker that indicates you are pregnant. The goal of the SMA biomarker project is to identify the most important laboratory measurements that can be used in SMA clinical trials involving infants.
Hi, my name is Allison Kingsley. In 2006, my husband and I were blessed with our third child, and we named him Brett. He was your typical happy and healthy baby, and I had no complications during my pregnancy. It wasn't until he was roughly 4 months old that we noticed something was wrong. He seemed weaker than our other children at that age and was not meeting the normal milestones. When he was 6 months old, our pediatrician agreed something was amiss. An MRI was scheduled and everything came back normal, but it was a blood test that showed he had spinal muscular atrophy. We were devastated. Now, 6 years have passed and SMA research has made significant advancements. Dr. Kolb and researchers around the world are on the brink of identifying the biomarkers for SMA. We know this may not help our son, but it will help the countless number of children yet to be born with SMA. Finding the optimal time to deliver an SMA treatment could be the beginning to the end of SMA. This is why the identification of biomarkers is so important to us and all the families touched by SMA.
The National Institute of Health NeuroNext Clinical Trial Network, with the support of the families of SMA, is launching a nationwide clinical research study to identify biomarkers relevant to SMA in infants and observe how the biomarkers change during the first 2 years of life. We need infants diagnosed with SMA by genetic testing that are less than 6 months of age. We also need healthy infants with no known disease. There will be up to 7 visits from when your child enrolls up to when he or she is 2 years of age. The visits will last from 3 to 5 hours. You can have breaks during the visit and can even hold your child during much of the testing. During each study visit, we will test motor function, how your baby moves. We will measure how your child's nerves and muscles react. And finally, there is a blood draw at most but not all of the visits. Measures will be taken to make the visits as comfortable as possible for you and your child. Obviously, this type of commitment, especially when a blood draw is involved, is not for everyone. That is why we are looking for super babies and super parents to volunteer for this study.
What we learn about how healthy infants develop in this study is just as important as what we learn about infants with SMA. Healthy infants in this study will provide the normal baseline to be used for future SMA trials, but will also provide a baseline that may be used in studies of other pediatric diseases.
We need the healthy infants to show us if there are differences in how these kids develop, so that we can learn when it is best to administer life-changing treatments of the future.
And so, we ask that you consider volunteering your infant and your time to be a super baby for SMA.
Nationwide, we have 15 centers participating in this study. We hope to enroll 27 healthy infants to complement 27 infants with SMA.
Both groups of infants are essential to the success of this study. Please spread the word. If you are pregnant or have a newborn who has SMA or is completely healthy, please consider volunteering your infant and your time for the SMA biomarker study.
So that you and your child can make a difference, be a super baby for SMA. Special thanks to these heroic groups for their support. If you would like to learn more about the study, please call 1-855-SMA-BION or 1-855-762-2466 or visit the website. Thank you.